It happened on the most dazzling night of the year. The Marriott Ballroom in Manhattan pulsed with laughter, glittering gowns, and champagne towers. Billionaires clinked glasses under chandeliers like constellations, unaware that their perfect evening was about to crack open. In the center of the room stood Nathaniel Carrington, the name on everyone's lips. The 42-year-old CEO of Carrington Tech, single father, and one of Forbes' most influential leaders under 45, was the man of the hour. Tall, composed, impeccably dressed in a charcoal tux, Nathaniel was every inch the picture of success. But no one noticed how pale he looked. No one saw how tightly he gripped the edge of the stage as he gave his speech. No one, until he collapsed. The microphone thudded as it hit the carpet. Gasps echoed. Champagne flutes slipped from trembling hands. Cameras stopped flashing. Security rushed forward. But amid the panic, a woman in simple scrubs pushed through the glittering crowd with certainty in her steps. "Move," she commanded, kneeling beside him. "I'm a nurse." Her name was Elena Morales. She wasn't on the guest list. She'd been working a double shift at Midtown General when her best friend, a caterer, begged her to fill in for a sick colleague. She hadn't wanted to be there, surrounded by silk and ego. But she couldn't say no. Elena never could when someone needed her. She checked Nathaniel's pulse. Weak but steady. She looked around. "Call 911, she said. "He's dehydrated. Might be diabetic. I need juice, a cool towel, and space. Now." In a room full of millionaires, it was the woman with the name tag who saved him. He woke up minutes later, eyes flickering open under the harsh lights of a backstage lounge. Elena was still there, crouched beside him, holding a glass of orange juice. "You fainted," she said gently. "Do you know where you are?" Nathaniel blinked, trying to sit up. "The Gala." "Yeah. You gave quite a show. You scared half of New York's elite." He gave a weak chuckle, then winced. "I'm fine." "Really?" "You're not," she said plainly. "When's the last time you ate? Or slept, for that matter?" He hesitated. "That's what I thought." Nathaniel studied her for a long moment. "You're not with the medical team, are you?" "No," she smiled. "I'm a fill-in caterer tonight. Full-time ER nurse." "Lucky me." Their eyes met, and for a fleeting moment, something unspoken passed between them. The next day, headlines exploded: "Single Dad CEO Collapses at Gala." The press speculated about everything from drug abuse to cancer. But Nathaniel stayed silent. No one knew the truth, that the night before, he'd skipped meals, worked 18 hours, and nearly missed the gala entirely because his 8-year-old son, Oliver, had a fever. That he'd been juggling boardroom battles by day and bedtimes by night. That he'd carried the weight of 2 worlds alone since his wife, Julia, died 4 years earlier in a car crash that shattered his carefully planned life. He hadn't planned to faint. He hadn't planned to meet Elena. But sometimes life knows what you need before you do. It started with a thank you. Nathaniel sent her a handwritten note and a bouquet the size of a bush. Then came a coffee meeting. Then a lunch. Then another. Elena was unlike anyone he'd known. Warm. Unfiltered. Unimpressed by money. She talked about her immigrant parents, her work in the ER, her childhood in the Bronx. She teased him about his tailored suits and his lack of sleep. And she listened. Truly listened. One afternoon, over sandwiches in Central Park, she asked, "Why do you do it?" "The company. The image. The endless hours." He hesitated. Then sighed. "Because I have to. For Oliver. He lost his mother. He can't lose his father too. I want to build something that secures his future. That proves to him he's safe. That I'm enough." Elena nodded. That's noble. But he doesn't need a superhero. He just needs you. Those words stuck with him. More than the press. More than any investor meeting. Just you. A few weeks later, Elena met Oliver. Nathaniel had invited her over under the guise of helping with a first aid kit that he insisted needed professional review. When she arrived, she found a shy boy with curls like his father's and eyes full of quiet intelligence. They played a board game. Then another. Oliver laughed for the first time in weeks. Later, Nathaniel watched from the doorway, heart caught in his throat, as his son curled up next to Elena on the couch, her voice soothing him into sleep. He realized, in that moment, what he hadn't dared admit before: he didn't just want Elena in their lives. He needed her. But life, as always, had its own plans. A scandal broke. A former business partner leaked confidential documents, accusing Nathaniel of corporate fraud. Stocks plummeted. Reporters camped outside his home. Board members turned cold. Through it all, Elena stood by him. Not with grand gestures, but with soup, soft words, and unwavering faith. "You have two choices," she said one night, as he paced the living room. "Let this break you. Or let it show the world what kind of man you really are." He chose the latter. Instead of hiding, Nathaniel went public. He addressed the media, revealed the truth behind the documents, took accountability for past mistakes, and launched a new transparency initiative across Carrington Tech. He made it personal, sharing his journey as a father, a widower, and a man trying to do right. The public response was overwhelming. He wasn't just a CEO anymore. He was human. And then, just when things seemed to settle, another twist came. Elena went quiet. She stopped replying to texts. Missed dinner. Cancelled coffee. Days turned into a week. Worried, Nathaniel showed up at her apartment. She opened the door, pale and exhausted. "I didn't want you to see me like this," she whispered. "I didn't want pity." She'd been diagnosed with an autoimmune condition. Manageable, but draining. It explained the fatigue, the sudden disappearances. "I thought if I pulled away early, it would hurt less," she said. "I didn't want to be a burden." Nathaniel pulled her into his arms. "You're not a burden," he said fiercely. "You're the reason I'm still standing. You saved me, on that stage, and every day after. Let me be there for you now." Months passed. The world forgot the scandal. Carrington Tech bounced back stronger. Elena responded well to treatment. And Oliver? He smiled more. Laughed louder. Called Elena his almost mom. Then came the gala. 1 year later. This time, Nathaniel stood on stage not to collapse, but to celebrate. "This year," he said, "I want to honor not a business achievement, but a personal one. Last year, I fainted on this very stage. I was overwhelmed, overworked, and alone." And then someone stepped forward. A woman who wasn't on the guest list. Who wasn't trying to impress anyone. Who simply saw a person in need, and helped. That act changed my life. He paused. "Tonight, I want to ask her something." Gasps rippled as Nathaniel turned, knelt on one knee, and looked out into the crowd. "Elena Morales," he said, voice shaking, "will you marry me?" Tears streamed down her cheeks as she walked forward. "Yes," she whispered, her voice breaking. 1,000 times, yes. The ballroom erupted. Cameras flashed. But in that moment, it wasn't about the glitz. Or the money. Or the headlines. It was about a nurse who saw past a title. A CEO who dared to be vulnerable. A little boy who got a family. And a love story that proved the most powerful force in the world isn't status or success. It's kindness. It's showing up for someone, again and again. Even when you have nothing left. Especially then. And as they stood beneath the lights, hands entwined, hearts full, one truth rang clear. Sometimes, the person who saves you doesn't wear a cape. They wear scrubs. And they change everything.